thank you for the food, Lord, that we're about to eat and the hands that have prepared it. We pray you bless it to our bodies. We ask, Lord, that you just direct this meeting in such a fashion that we are clear with what we're saying and we understand what we need to do, Lord, to make everything work in this county so that the needs are met. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much. We'll delay the
Okay.
see if we get 4 minutes. First thing on the agenda is Brother Neil.
That's exactly what it is.
Are you ready there?
I'm ready. I've been ready ever since he prayed.
Mike's been ready all evening.
All right. Brother Neil, go ahead.
Okay, I didn't know exactly what you wanted to present it or how you wanted it presented, so what I've done is brought the annual budget for last year and it's just an overview and you can pass it around and look at it, but it wouldn't take me but a minute to read it if you'd rather me just read it for the record. So 2012 has again been a remarkable year for Bethesda Community Mission. God has blessed us with an abundance of food and contributions from individuals, churches, businesses, civic organizations, and etc. Grants were received from United Way and Walmart. We lost a significant grant last year from Community Foundation that required us to cut back on some financial assistance that we were doing. But even with that, some of the churches and businesses and individuals increased their donations to help defray some of the cost. The following reflects our financial statistics for 2012. $28,961.87 in financial assistance was provided to 280 unduplicated families. The actual amount of assistance requested was $73,434.28. The overwhelming majority of assistance was in partial payment of utility bills, allowing clients to assume some of the cost share and allowing us to assist more families. The food pantry provided 430 unduplicated families with 917 food boxes during 2012, averaging 76 food boxes distributed each month. Volunteers continue to refer to clients to the food stamps and commodities programs and other resources as needed. We also served 786 families representing 1,645 individuals with rescued perishable food, which amounted to 81,500 pounds donated by Second Harvest of Middle Tennessee. We're doing our best to serve 80 families each month every fourth Wednesday at the National Guard Armory. We purchased $2,616 worth of food, that was 1,870 pounds, for the pantry. 26,459 pounds were donated to the food pantry through drives and individual donations. That represents almost 110,000 pounds of food distributed in Houston County this year alone. That's 2012 now. 100 food vouchers were distributed with a total voucher value of $600. Approximately 50 volunteers, committed and dedicated women and men, provide over 2,986 hours of service. Volunteer meetings are held quarterly, and the mission is open Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 1. We're closed on holidays or when the schools are closed due to inclement weather. Respectfully submitted, Richard Neal, Director. Now, I brought with me tonight what we've done to date this year. It's fascinating to me when you look at the figures. We've already given out this year alone, if you remember, the figure that I gave you a while ago was right at 110,000 pounds of food that we distributed last year total. And as of today, we've distributed 62,945 pounds of food in this county so far. From the first of the year till now, we have distributed 399 food boxes. I'm trying to find, printed this out so I wouldn't be confusing. There was 399 food boxes that represent 173 females and 89 males. 16 of those were African American, 236 were Caucasian, 4 were Hispanic, and 3 were Native American. And I've got breakdowns on all that if you want to look at it later. That was the food boxes. Now you want to know what, now this blows my mind, but we sat down a couple of weeks ago and figured out what a box was valued at that we give away. And what we've given away so far, just in food boxes, not the perishable distribution, is equivalent to $45,885 since the first of the year. The perishable distribution, we've given out 363 food or families, I could say food baskets. Some of you work that, so you know how that goes, but it's amazing to me at the amount of food. If there's more than 2 families in the car, it's all you can do to get the food in the car. So, but we've already serviced 363 families at the Armory this year. And so far to date, financial assistance, and most of this is electric bills, some water bills, some motel bills, but most of it goes to MLEC, $14,842.33 this year already. And our giving is up this year substantially from last year. So this year we're in more need of food than we are money for financial assistance. We had the postal drive Mother's Day weekend brought in 3,402 pounds of food, and we've already started running out of some things. So just pray that we can be good stewards of the resources that God's given us, because the need in this county is great. We were talking a while ago about some people looking for jobs, but there's no jobs to be had. I see people every day that have done everything they can to get a job. And so I'm open to answer any specific questions that you have for me, but I'll give you the statistics for last year and as to date.
What's the best way we can continue to help? Food?
Well, I would say financial assistance. If I had the figures in front of me to tell you, we got a grant this year that I haven't started spending out of yet from AmeriGroup for $2,500, and they said we could only spend it for food. So I've got $2,500 sitting there, so when we're running out of a particular item, I can go purchase it. We got a $750 grant from Walmart, which we have spent about a little over half of that so far. So what we do is when we see we're running low of a certain item, we just go purchase those items. Another thing too is we purchase from Second Harvest, and I hope y'all don't think I'm being too frugal here, but what I buy from Second Harvest is what I can get that's half what it is in the stores. Clegans and Save a Lot both can do just about as good on green beans and corn, stuff like that, as Second Harvest, but where you paid 99 cents for spaghetti, I could get it at Second Harvest for 49 cents. The same is true with peanut butter. I can get peanut butter at the cheapest you can get here, 50 cents cheaper through Second Harvest. So when we start running low of items that I see we can purchase from Second Harvest, that's the things that I purchase. I just don't go with a grocery list. I just certain items that I buy. So the greater need is in financial need. I mean, we have people, as of February last year to February this year, we could only help with $75 on an electric bill. In February this year, I increased that to $100, and we're still doing well as far as that goes. But we didn't get enough money to be able to pay more than $100 a month. So financially is still the greater need rather than food. The community is good at giving. It amazes me at the Clegg basket. I don't know how many of y'all go through there and see the Bethesda basket, but I get food out of that basket at least 3 times a week. And I'd be safe in saying if you added up all the food that came out of the mission, a third of the food that comes through there comes out of that Clegg basket. Because I pick up a lot of food out of the Clegg basket every week.
Is there anything in particular that you'd like to see in that Clegg basket? you know, as far as canned goods and things like that?
No, people are doing real good. There's some things that I think would be better not put in the basket. I don't know who's putting it in the basket, but we're getting at least 4 or 5 times a month a number 10 can, and you have to have a large family to give out a number 10 can. If you've got a small family, nobody's going to open a number 10 can of green beans and waste it. So,
Smaller cans would be best.
yeah, the regular size cans for a family would be better. One of the things that we're always in need of, if a farmer or someone who slaughters our frozen meats, we keep running out of frozen meats. The Deer Hunters Club gave us 600 pounds of deer meat, but it ran out 2 months ago. We get chicken from Urban Ministries in Clarksville every third Thursday, but it doesn't last long enough to make it through the month. And where that comes from is places like Kentucky Fried Chicken, Church's Chicken. They keep it at White Castle, but it comes from several chicken places where they freeze what they have left at the end of the day, and so we give that out. And we're just about out of that now, and it's a little while before the third Thursday to pick up chicken again. Any other questions, Mike?
No, that's about all I can think of. It's just odds and ends, so just anything that we'd serve during our regular meal, then you...
Right, exactly. I mean, we give a well-balanced meal out, and it's a good, substantial amount of food. I'm surprised sometimes that we may give out more food than what we would go to the grocery store and buy for ourselves. But the list was made out, and we keep trying to look at what's the better value. I don't pick when I go by, I pick the cheapest and not the best. I hope that's not... I'm trying to be frugal with the money and be good stewards of what...
Well, that's important there. I mean, and the boxes, are they different than the Second Harvest as far as who gets that?
No, anybody's qualified. The way it works, that we help financially twice a year. We help with food boxes 6 times a year. We never turn anybody away. We may give them what's called a short box if they've already gotten 6 full boxes. But the biggest difference between the armory and the pantry at the Bethesda is you have a lot of people in this community that see Bethesda as charity, and they would never come to Bethesda. But they don't see that with the perishable distribution. That's food that's going to run out of its lifespan. It's being rescued. It's why it's called rescued food. So I would say half or better of the people that pick up at the armory never set foot in the doors of the mission. And that's the only difference. Of course, what's given away at the armory is all perishable, and what's given away at the mission, is stable along with perishables. We go to Dover the 2nd and 4th Mondays and pick up perishables that we give away there at the mission. And of course, we've been serving 80 families, but we've increased it to 90 families every 4th Wednesday at the armory. And that possibly could go up because Second Harvest is seeing that we're doing, I don't know where this is going, so I'm almost afraid to say. Feeding America did a survey this past Wednesday, and when they left, they said that we had the best set up and distributed better than any of the agencies that they had seen so far, because these people never get out of their cars. You all know that. And we had good stuff. And so it's not unusual now for us to get most of a tractor trailer load of food. When it first started, it was like 4, 5, 6 pallets they told me would be the most I've got, and now it's a tractor trailer load.
I know, well, it's more than these guys can hand out.
Yeah. And this last, well, and we increased this last one 10 families, and then, of course, Susie wasn't there to divide it because her father had failed, was in the hospital that morning, and I credit that with that's why we had so much food at the end of it. But hopefully we'll just keep increasing the families until we get, you never know, because here's my fear. my fear has been that we will have more families than we've got food, and then that'll look bad. It's always better to give a few families a lot of food than to have more families and run out of food. So,
Well, I noticed that a lot of people, different ones, told me privately that they actually share it.
oh yes. Well,
With
see,
other people in their community.
there's no way for us to size the baskets. Everybody gets the same amount. And so it's amazing to me, like the people in Shamrock, you may have two families. The way this works, and y'all stop me if I'm talking too long, the way this works, we've got 3 colored cards. We've got blue cards, yellow cards, and green cards. And so you've got 90 names. 90 blue cards will come this month, and next month 90 different people on a different color card, and then the next month 90 different people. So you'll have 2 families in Shamrock on the yellow card, maybe 2 more families on the green card, and 2 more on the blue card, and then when they get back home, they share with apartment. So that way, every month, everybody is getting something to eat there at Shamrock, and they do that same thing at Griffith Ridge. And I know that the elderly people couldn't possibly eat all the food. I had one lady that came by, gave everybody this, well, lots of things, but there was 8 heads of cabbage went in every car. And I thought, what in the world are these people going to think? And I had a lady stop, she said, Brother Neil, I just want to thank you for the cabbage. She said, I went home and I cooked that cabbage and I froze that cabbage and I've had cabbage every day. So, you know, who knows?
I'll get you the recipe for making cabbage kimchi from Korea.
Yeah, there you go. And that's good stuff. Okay. Any other questions?
Go back to one more thing on the power bill. How often does a person get help with power?
Twice a year.
Twice a year.
And when we have funds, you know, we started out a couple of years ago doing $150 on the bill, but we ran out of money. So by the time the year ended, we couldn't help anybody. So February of last year, I cut it back to 75, and that did well, but we had more money come in this year. We've had substantially more money come in this year than we did last year. And so we increased it to 100. But if funds keep coming in like they're coming in now, I'll start increasing that to 150. It's just really got to do, what I don't want to do is run out of money and not be able to help anybody.
And that's over and above your regular, do you have a regular monthly budget anyway on top of all that? As far as your funds that you have? And I'm talking about, because you definitely have overhead yourself.
Yeah, what we try to do is never end the month with less than $6,000 in the bank. And that way we know that everything can be taken care of.
Sort of a rainy day fund.
Right, yeah.
And everybody might think out there think that's a lot, but the courthouse in the city has got millions of dollars set that way, so.
Yeah, and you can't afford not to pay your bills, so you've got to make sure you've got that much money in the bank at the end of the month, so.
Yeah, that's just what I'm curious about. Things that other people have been curious about, how they're chosen, anything like that.
Yeah, and of course, there's really no way to discriminate, and so what we've done is made it where we can only help people twice a year. But we do try to do some other things. Sometimes I get a grant, or some of it's not grants. Sometimes the church will come and say, I want to pay somebody's electric bill for a whole month. We had one church, actually it was in Stewart County, but they gave Good Samaritan enough to pay 2 electric bills, and they gave us enough money to pay 2 electric bills. Those kind of things, I try to find struggling families that I know cannot help themselves to do those bills. But I mean, it's really got to do with, just like when Merit Group gave me this $2,500, they said, we want it spent on food. And so when somebody comes in and says, this is how I want this money spent, that's what I do.
And the other thing that you had mentioned to me was that your non-perishable foods that they can buy, organizations can buy a truckload of that.
Yeah, you can, but you have to get, here's the way that works, and like I said, y'all stop me if I'm talking too much. You can get a tractor-trailer load of food for $2,500. That's not a bad price, but you got to give it out that day. Right now, and those of you who are sitting here that help us, you know that we have stretched our volunteers beyond measure. We have 30 volunteers, regular volunteers at Bethesda Mission, and when we do the armory, we have people from the Lions Club, the American Legion, the courthouse, sometimes the youth leadership. We have people, this past time, it was 45 people that did that distribution. And if you do this other, you have to set it up on a separate day, and you have to give it out that day, which would require us requiring volunteers and setting up another day. And right now we've got that perishable distribution running smoothly. It was taking us 100 hours to call 80 families a month. And so what we did was we came up with this card system where they never have to come back. We give them a card with 3 dates on it. If they continue to come, if they miss and don't this last Wednesday, one of y'all helped with that, didn't you?
Yeah, we helped with
They did the food.
Right. And so, I mean, we have a lot of different people. This last one we did, there were people there that I didn't know. I mean, several people there that I didn't know. So when the word gets out, people just show up and help us. It's awesome. And we have a lot of fun, too.
Yes. Yeah, I told them when they knew that was going to be, and I told them, and the family service manager and her girls went up there and helped.
Well, I knew we had people that I didn't know. Now, we got their names, and I always try to put a thank you on Facebook, but it's impossible to get a thank you to everybody. But,
Most everybody sees that.
okay, any other questions?
No,
Okay, thank you, Brother.
Thank you for allowing me to come.
Very informative.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
just let us know anytime. Pass on the show on or whatever from 8th grade and then to high school. Response rates are about 22 years. Significant very Houston County guidelines and traditions starts back. We are Daisy until 12. Like I said, we get ready to get started here in just a few minutes. You can call Ace at 289-4141 for any information you need. They have all kinds of gear, in-home, everything like that. So, y'all just be ready here. They're getting ready to walk the line.
Genesee Shire's Student Council President, and this is Hunter Stark, Student Council Vice President. To begin this evening, I would like to begin by looking back on some of our highlights from the past. With the beginning of 6th grade, we were barely able to remember our locker combinations, much less tall enough to see the numbers. But we got through it. In 7th grade, we never thought one of our teachers would follow us, but she did. In 8th grade, it went by so fast. We have all realized it's our time of being kids has run out. And it's time to grow up into young adults. I wish all the 8th grade class and the best luck in high school. Now let's move on to some awards. First, we have Ms. Jenny Campbell, our new SEA advisor, presenting the Student Council Award.
Thank you, Bessie. Now, for Ms. Cindy Clark to present the FCA Award.
Each year, I think that there can't become a better group of FCA members, and each year I'm proven wrong. This year's group didn't even wait for me to get here in the mornings. They were already at my door waiting for me. And I would like for all of my FCA members and my officers to please stand. My captains this year were Malik Sylvester and Hannah Allison. If you will come forward, please.
Presenting our Perfect Attendance Award, Mr. Ray Busey.
Our Perfect Attendance Award this year is extremely special because this young man has not just had perfect attendance this year, he's never missed a day of school in his life. So perfect attendance from the beginning of school through the 8th grade, Cooper Morris.
Now, presenting the Math Award, Ms. Nikki C.
This year's Math Award goes to a young lady who has kept the highest average all year long. She's worked hard despite medical problems, and she's always had a smile on her face, never complained when we've had to do yet another practice test, and that's Miss Laura Lynn Pryor.
Presenting the Science Award would be Mr. Orman Meadow.
Okay, the Science Award this year goes to a young man who just had a genuine love for science, and no matter what we did, he was always interested in, always wanted to do the best that he could at, and that's Mr. Malik Sylvester.
Presenting the History Award, Miss Betty Lake.
History Award tonight, I would like to recognize those students who participated in the Regional Tennessee History Day at Austin Peay State University. Please stand as I call your name. Cole Hooper, Paige Carr, Yvonne Gillespie, Cheyenne Spencer, and Cooper Morris. These students were the first from Houston County to enter this contest, the first ever. And I appreciate the fact that they did. Now for this year's History Award, this year's award goes without a doubt to none other than Trevor Hutchinson.
Presenting this year's Reading Award is Ms. Darcy Manners.
Tonight for the Reading Award, this girl has read probably more novels than I have. She loves reading. Every time I looked, when it was downtime, she was reading, and that's Yvonne Gillespie.
Now for the Language Award by Ms. Teresa Norris.
Language arts students spend much of the year working on grammar, writing, and communication. The subject matter can be quite rigorous. Students had 4 nights of homework each week, and they also had to participate in the state's pilot program for the new online writing assessment, as well, writing 4 state essays. This year, one student consistently kept a positive attitude through it all. She maintained an A average all year, carried herself gracefully, and even had great penmanship. This year's Language Arts Award goes to Lauren Weitenheimer. Also, this year the state changed the way that all 5th, 8th, and 11th graders take the annual writing assessment. Our students were the first to have to take the test online. For many, this was a totally new and challenging experience. We worked all year preparing, and we practiced keyboarding skills as often as we could. Instead of receiving 1 score, as in the past, students were graded in 4 separate categories: focus and organization, support elaboration, language style, and conventions. 16 students scored a competent 3 or better in all 4 categories, and I would like to recognize them now by having them stand and remain standing until all names have been called. Jack Allen, Victoria Casey, Alex Clark, Isaac Clark, Catherine Coleman, Trevor Hutchinson, Whitley Lewis, Cooper Morris, Chance Parker, Laura Lynn Pryor, Caleb Pulley, Maggie C., Cheyenne Spencer, Paige Clark, Eric Worley, and Alex York. You may be seated. And finally, I have a certificate here to recognize the only student of these 16 who received a score of 4 or excellent in all 4 categories. Congratulations, Caleb Pulley.
Presenting the band award, Mr. Matt Witt.
Every year I say this, and every year, you sort of say things and you don't really mean it, but when a group moves on. But this year I can say it without any reservation. In the 10 years I've been here, I've had a lot of 8th grade groups, and this one has been the best by far. They are absolutely outstanding. Of the 30 kids that I have in the 8th grade band class, 9 of them auditioned and were selected for the Gateway Honor Band in Clarksville, which is made up of students from Houston, Stewart, and Montgomery counties, as well as Fort Campbell. Would those students please stand? You were selected for Gateway. Represents the highest number of students that we've ever had selected for that organization in the 3 years that we've been eligible to audition. You may be seated. The first award I'm going to present is the Most Improved Musician Award. Goes to the person that I feel has shown the most progress from the time they were in 7th grade when they finished up last year to the end of the year now. This gentleman has worked very, very hard playing one of the most difficult instruments that you can learn, and that's Mr. Jacob Troyer. And the Best All-Around Award, some years picking the individual that gets this award is very easy. But this year it was really, really tough. It could have gone about 7 different ways. And the way I decided was basically based on Gateway scores. And this individual, in all the different sections, he came in second. In his respective section. Amazingly good musician, as most of this 8th grade group is, but he's just absolutely outstanding, and that's Mr. Vince Baggett.
Presenting the physical education, Ms. Coach Orville McCullough.
This year's Physical Education Award goes to Brady Wombles. And Clay Wright.
The awarding of diplomas is presented by Mr. Ray Busey.
It looks like I've got a lot to say and it'll take a long time, but I showed a couple of guys earlier. It's just a big font because I can't see. I do want to thank everyone for attending tonight. It seems like every year we get a bigger and better crowd. Appreciate you coming. I especially want to thank parents, family, friends for all you've done to help these 8th graders get to this point in their life. Same we say on the phone message all the time. Thank you for everything you do for HCMS. Special thank you to the faculty and the staff. I think they do a really, really great job helping our young people, and we really appreciate that. 8th graders, want to thank y'all. Congratulations on your accomplishment. Jesse and Hunter, great job tonight. And where some of them say every year you say this, 8th grade, I don't say this every year, okay? So I mean it. I'm extremely, extremely proud of you. when y'all got here at the 6th grade and through the 7th grade, I spent a whole lot of time with a whole lot of you. You know, we got to talk a lot, we got to get to know each other. This year I have no doubt, and I've talked to other teachers and they've told me the same things, I have no doubt in saying this, and like I said, I don't say it to every group. You're by far the most improved group that we've had since I've been here. I'm really, really proud of you. Thank you very much for that improvement. At this time, I'd like to ask Coach McCullough to come up and help us with the presenting of the promotion certificates. First row, please stand. Jackson Ray Allen. Hannah Ray Allison. Jesse Almonroe. Trey Almonroe. Aaron Patrick Arnold. Shakia Kendriana Askew. Jaden Atkins. Sarah Annalise Baggett. Vincent Ray Baggett. Cody Baker. Micaiah Brooke Barrett. Grayson Bass. Preston C. Bazell. Scotty Black. Will Lee Black. Madison Alexander Guerrero. Hannah Bryan. Caleb Bryan. Kelsey Bryan. First row will be seated. Second row, please stand. Stratton Blaine Bryant. William Cooley Bush. Oh, my bad. Carter Houston Carey. Victoria Casey. Drake Cathy. Ronnie Chadwick. Alexander Paul Clark. Destiny Page Clark. Isaac Clark. Travis Claxton. Catherine May Coleman. Isabel Maria Colon. Ashton Nicole Conley. Sonia Cook. Christopher Lewis Dameron. Zach Daughtry. Layson Marie Delzell. Trinity Elaine Delzell. Kaylin Lee Dew. Kayla Marie Dew. Second row will be seated. Third row stand. Trenton Dale Doherty. Jordan Allen Doty. Daniel Dean Dredd. Logan Foley. Zachary Joseph Garza. Bailey Michelle Gibson. Yvonne Gillespie. Drew Gooden. Hannah Grove. Gail White Harvey. Ashlyn Herbison. Cole Hooper. Trevor D. Hutchison. Shelby Danielle Leach. Whitney Nicole Lewis. Sean Adam Lowe. Kyle McKinney. Courtney Messer. Third row will be seated. Fourth row, please rise. Jonathan Daniel Movis. Ashley Brooke Mohan. Austin Moore. Cooper Andrew Morris. Faith Evelyn Musser. Logan Ross. Colton Rumfeld. Gavin Alexander Russell. Fourth row will be seated. Fifth row, please stand. Sin Sanchez. Maggie Joe C. Gabrielle Ray Self. Joey Self. Jesse K. Shire. Brittany Ann Shelton. Jerry Smith. Candace Ray Smith. Michael Smith. Shelby Ann Smith. Cheyenne Spencer. Charles Austin Stafford. Tyler Wade Steppe. Brandon Michael Stevens. Malik Alexander Sylvester. Jacob Tyler Troyer. Lauren Elizabeth Weitenheimer. Paige Waller. Fifth row will be seated. Fifth row will be seated. Last row, stand up. Brady Wamble. Bryant Wilson. Eric Derek S. Worley. Lennon Clay Wright. Marissa Shell Wright. Noah Mitchell Wright. Kendra Marie Yates. Kristen Sierra Yazzie. Alex York. Zakaya Zornana. Sixth row, you may be seated. Just a reminder, when we finish this, we'll try to empty the building out, then bring the 8th grade students back in for their party. And I do appreciate your patience and putting up with a little bit of a heat. At this time, I'd like to present to you the 8th grade class of 2013. Congratulations.